This one is for it all. Welcome to the national championship game here of the Reddit virtual tournament. It's number 3 seeded Seton Hall against BYU, one of the 5 seeds here in this tournament. So glad to have you along. Alex Perlman, Mike Abelson with you for what should be a high-flying, offensive-minded matchup between a couple of teams that can really score the basketball.
I mean, we got ourselves some jump shooters in this one, but only one team of jump shooters is going to put up a banner today. We're showcasing 2 of the best, Miles Powell, Jake Toulson. I mean, we could get up into the hundreds today. Natty on the line. Buckle up.
How did they get here? Well, BYU took down 6-seeded West Virginia 97-90 in the Final Four. For Seton Hall, led by Miles Powell's 26 points. He was on point. 87-83 the final over number 1 seeded Gonzaga in the Final Four. Their second straight win over a 1 seed. Sandro Mamukilishvili to tip it away with Dalton Nixon, and BYU wins the tap, and we are underway here at the Alamo Dome. First ever Final Four for BYU. What a season they have had in Mark Pope's first year in Provo, coming over after 4 seasons with Utah Valley, now with BYU. Just the 10th coach since 1990 to get to the Final Four in his first 5 years. And immediately, a whistle on Dalton Nixon.
The Reddit Premium Free Throw Cam in the first half is brought to you by Oldsmobile. You can buy a bigger car, but not a better one.
And so for Mamukilishvili, the junior out of Georgia, not the state but the country, averaging 15 points, 8.5 rebounds per game in the NCAA tournament. Mike, he has been such a huge force for the Pirates down low to complement point guard Quincy McKnight and then the shooting guard of the year, winning the Jerry West Award, Miles Powell.
Well, as you see, Celius getting his first bucket, but Mamu's been having a really good tournament inside and outside. You know, of course, you're going to expect someone with his size to be able to bang the boards low, but he's able to step out and shoot it as well, draw defenders out of position. A lot of things, big and small, he does for this team.
In and out on the first 3 attempts for Quincy McKnight, who is knocking down almost 35% from beyond the arc this season. And back to BYU, who is the best three-point shooting team in the country this year. 42% from 3, 6 players averaging 37% or better, and that's a hot start defensively for Roden.
Hit that with his forearm.
Guy got up, really an unsung hero of this team. Roden coming off of an 11-point performance in the Pirates' win over Gonzaga. There's Zach Celius, and a rare miss for him. He has been the best player for BYU in the tournament. Team high 24 points last game, but you gotta put a hand in McKnight's face. He can bury it from beyond the arc.
Yeah, you know, in the Elite 8, he had a monster game. You know, so it's not like this Pirates team has been all Powell in this tournament. They can beat you multiple ways.
Powell wasn't even good to get to the Final Four. He didn't score until way late in the game, ended up scoring 8, but at the same time, if it was not for Quincy McKnight and Mamu, there's no chance the Pirates would be in this spot.
And also Roden. I mean, I've loved Jared Roden this whole tournament. Just so many small things done right.
Yeah, no question about that. Early lead now for Seton Hall. Powell, that is, pounding the dribble as he goes back over to the right wing. To Mamu at the free throw line with just 6 on the shot clock. Got to give it up, and now it goes into the corner for another long 3. Kale with the dish, and give it to McKnight, his second, and picked off on the other end.
Who else but Jared Roden on the steal?
Invaluable so far in this game for Kevin Willard. His 10th season now in South Orange, New Jersey, getting Seton Hall to its 2nd national championship game appearance, lost in 1989 to Michigan.
I love that hat logo in the middle of the court.
I think it's one of the better ones in recent memory, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I love it.
And that's buried from the wing. Hawes first
Celia.
dime.
Yeah, TJ Hall is another guy who's had a great tournament, but has also had bad games and bad halves within the tournament, and teammates stepping up to fill the spot.
Hawes coming off a 21-point performance. He's around that low 20s mark the last 3 meetings for BYU, coming onto the floor here, and now a 3-point lead for Seton Hall.
Hey, Alex, look at that. Yoli Childs has made it 3.5 minutes without 2 fouls.
That's pretty impressive. He's way longer than he did last time as Nixon scores that one. You're talking about...
What is Mamu doing right there?
I guess he had other interests at the moment.
Mate.
But talking about Childs, Mike, I mean, back-to-back games in early foul trouble, coming off of just a 3-point performance in the Final Four. That has been a big issue for a guy that missed a lot of time this year as well. Remember, he was suspended the first 9 games of the year, then missed 2 weeks because of a finger injury, but still managed to be named first team All-West Coast Conference.
It begs the question, if he hits foul trouble again, does the clock strike midnight for BYU? I mean, they've been able to play so well without him.
There's Mamu off the miss.
Can they, here in the biggest game the program's ever played, can they survive without, if Childs winds up dealing with that again?
I think the answer is Mamu just takes that out of the bleachers.
He dented the floor.
And back the other way, he scores it.
2-way player.
To go back to Childs, I think the answer is pretty obvious. They can very well get past a team like Seton Hall, even if their best player arguably is not playing great, because they've got Celius and they've got Nixon, who's off the mark right there. Toulson and Hawes, they have just been so good this entire tournament, and it's not a surprise to see them this year in this spot. Seton Hall, who has scored every game except one in the 90s at least. And they did put up 87 in the win over Gonzaga. I mean, this team, you have to make shots against them, or else you really don't have a chance this year in the NCAA tournament against the Pirates.
I just want to say, big ups to Quincy McKnight for that effort, but the ball was already out of bounds on that dive. Good shot attempt as well.
Hawes takes it down for BYU in transition. Childs over to Celius, who dribbles past the 3-point line. Hawes, who is now at 2,000 points for his career. All right, great start for Zach Celius, and this is what BYU needed. Nothing for Toulson and Hawes at the moment, and BYU down a triple.
Someone's got to move. Somebody.
Finally, the ball does get moved around and leads to an open 3 for Powell.
I love how casually you say that. It's just, yep, Miles Powell, 3 in the national title. You know.
Well, if Seton Hall is going to take down its first national championship in program history, it will have a lot to do with Powell. Consensus first-team All-American, but right there given right back to BYU. And they will reset the offense here with Hawes. Last season for Powell out of Trenton, New Jersey. He is in the NBA draft conversation, but maybe surprisingly, as Celius buries that one as well, he is not a lock to be drafted.
It's amazing.
But we'll just have to see whether that leads to a career overseas, G League. If he does end up making the NBA, I would not count him out by any means with the way that Powell can fill it up. What a dish inside, and Mamu makes easy work.
Just sneaks right behind Nixon. Nixon went for the steal, and sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. Mamu dumps it in.
The lead 5 now for the Pirates. Just more than 7 minutes into the national championship game, that is, as Sellius a little short and Hawes takes it down now. Toulson had the 3. Yeah, Toulson had the 3 if he wanted. Instead, it's Sellius. Oh, come on.
Okay, fine. I won't shoot it. Zach, you score the points. It's kind of how BYU plays.
These are two experienced teams, especially BYU. They're starting 5, usually featuring 4 seniors, just like today. One of them, of course, Zach Sellius, 6'7" senior out of Bountiful, Utah. I mean, he's shooting 42% for the tournament from beyond the arc.
I mean, it just blows me away the way that all these guys can hit their shots.
And there's Childs with his first bucket, the leading scorer and rebounder on BYU. 22 points, 9 rebounds per game.
TJ Hawes already with 5 assists. Wow.
Yeah, he hasn't scored yet, but he has certainly been distributing the basketball well. Mamu into the corner. Talk about great distribution, but McKnight passed up on the 3. Instead, Powell now. Screen comes from Roden. Under 10 to shoot. Powell versus Hawes. Kale for 3. That contested one wouldn't go. Mamu a couple of fakes, and he earns a trip to the line. First foul on Nixon. Second check that on the big man for BYU.
Shooting 2.
Pro wrestling is great. Catch the best of the best on AEW Dynamite. Wednesdays at 8 on TNT.
Anybody you're looking forward to specifically, Mike, in that?
What was that?
Anybody you're looking forward to specifically to watch?
Well, I'm a big Cody Rhodes fan, although he can't call himself Cody Rhodes due to some very strange legal trademarking issues with other wrestling companies that shall not be named, but that are somehow essential businesses.
You didn't narrow it down there at all.
Nope, not gonna. You know, they're not run by people that twice failed as football owners. Not that.
Definitely not them.
Nope, not them.
BYU down just 1 point. Toulson still waiting to get involved in the action. He hasn't done much. Sellius has really been the whole team right now. 13 of BYU's 17 points thus far. Now here's Hawes. Got it for 3.
TJ Hawes, smooth as silk. 20 to 18. Points coming slowly but surely for both teams.
Hawes finally getting on the scoreboard in that category, but he does average almost 6 assists per game. And Mike, we were talking about it. He's basically at that mark, and we haven't even played half of the first yet.
Yeah, we're barely a quarter of the way into this game. You know, one thing we were talking about pregame was the history here in this matchups. By our counts, the first time, long 3, holy cow. It's the first time that we've had 2 teams competing for their chance to win their first national title since the 1974 NC State Marquette game. So it's been quite a while since we've been guaranteed to have a first-time champion.
And 2 very deserving teams to be in the national championship game as well, with the way that they've played, not only through the season, but also in the tournament. I mean, Seton Hall sharing the Big East title with Creighton and Villanova. BYU, who knows if they don't lose Yoli Childs at the beginning of conference play for 2 weeks, where they are. It's the only team, as Toulson finally makes a 3, the only team besides Michigan this year before last game to beat Gonzaga, and they did it on senior night. McKnight again!
Yeah, you know, like, this is a team that's been through the ups and downs of what a basketball season can throw at you. They've been playing together for, you know, half a year now. All the quirks are worked out. At this point, it's just doesn't even have to be pretty. Just score more points.
Top 10 in the net ranking. Talk about pretty right there on the refeed to Hawes.
We're just staying 1 point each way.
No surprise, this one is tight early. Roden, kick it back out. That's a long 2 this time for the Pirates. Look at that offensive rebound by Kale. Does the dirty work. Roden misses the point-blank chippy.
You know, we haven't talked much about Miles Kale in this tournament, but he's had some big scoring games, some big rebounding games. You know, again, everyone up and down that Seton Hall bench has had a big moment or a big game in this tournament.
Kale went for a stretch in the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 where he didn't miss a field goal or a free throw. He was 8 for 8 from the field and from the line. Efficient.
I'm sure Kevin Willard was not complaining at all.
Well, it led to a couple of wins. And which team will get that all-important 6th straight win? Of course, would mean a national championship. Childs, shovel it out. Long 3, goes down. Barcelo is on the board. Alex Barcelo, the junior transfer from Arizona.
Now we got the bench coming in, and they shoot just as well.
I mean, Barcelo's 48% from beyond the arc this year.
Yeah, and if you're Seton Hall, you've only had really a day to prepare for this offense.
We get a reaching in Barcelo. Mike, if you were preparing for BYU, how exactly do you try to work on them defensively?
God, I don't even really know what you do in one day. You know, it's not like you can do any special conditioning or anything. You just got to get in their face.
Yeah, you kind of got to lock them down man to man, right?
You know, I mean, a zone's not going to help you.
That we know for sure. Don't expect to see that from Kevin Willard at all. Powell off of the fake, and they're going to get that foul on Colby Lee.
For 15 years, the Cassidy Bar and Kitchen has been providing welcoming food and atmosphere in Maplewood. With an American-style menu, Maplewood native Tom Carlin has developed a menu that is sure to please and satisfy the Cassidy Bar and Kitchen.
Powell, 2,300 career points, 3rd all-time at Seton Hall. His last go-around is his final game in national championship. I mean, Obiagu's going to pick up that foul. Kind of a weak one right there. Childs drawing the contact on the 7-2 transfer from Nigeria and came over from Florida State. There's no better way you could go out on your career. And Miles Powell, Quincy McKnight, they are hoping that is exactly what happens for Seton Hall.
Hey, your last game ever, you reached the mountaintop. As you said, there is no better way.
Bright days ahead, though, for the Pirates as well, even if they're not able to take down BYU in the national championship game. They just picked up one of the top transfers on the market in Bryce Aiken, who averaged 17 points per game for Harvard over his career. So there are some positives to take away, even if they're not able to get a win. But, of course, the Pirates faithful are going to be looking for a national championship. Anytime you get to this point, I mean, if you don't win it, it is a massive disappointment.
You know, I've seen Bryce Aiken play. He's phenomenal. Right now in South Orange, they're excited, but they're just chewing their nails off for the next 27 minutes of basketball.
Must have been a body bump right there. Didn't see a lot in that foul. But it is going to lead for more free throws for the Cougars, trying to add to a 3-point edge with Toulson at the charity stripe.
You know, the last thing you're going to want to see in this game is, 30, 40 free throws here in this one.
2 fouls on Obiagu, so that's going to bring in Torian Thompson, the junior transfer from Syracuse, originally hailing from New York City. Just across the river from the campus in South Orange, New Jersey of Seton Hall University.
What? What?
You know what? Sometimes we have seen some mental lapses from the teams, even, getting to the national championship game.
Okay.
And BYU with a quick bucket.
God, what a feed. Lee looked pretty well covered by Thompson right there, and the ball just got rifled in.
Lee using that 6'9", 240-pound frame to his advantage. And we will get a timeout now for Seton Hall. Kevin Willard wants to talk things over with 7:11 to go here in the first. Down by 7. Powell keeps the dribble. Mamu doubled. Back around it goes to Roden. Roden!
Yet again, Jared Roden's the guy, stepping up when they need it. The game was slowly getting away from them. Big basket by Jared Roden cuts it back to 5.
Yeah, he started 12 games in Big East play, shot 43% from 3 in conference action. Was a huge find for Kevin Willard, at least with the way he was able to play in conference. Hawes from the corner.
Good Lord. How do you get that type of roll from the corner? But hey, counts all the same.
Shooter's touch right there for TJ Hawes. It feels like he is in his 19th year with BYU, but believe it or not, he's a senior. Not even a super senior, senior at that. Mamu can't get the roll. Lee picks up his second. I mean, when you think about BYU basketball, isn't the first name that comes to mind TJ Hawes?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of modern BYU basketball, he's the guy. Historically, I'd probably say Danny Ainge.
Sure.
But today, the last several years, TJ Hawes, he's the guy.
Mamu off, but there is Roden once again. If you want to use an old cliche, Roden is certainly the glue guy for Seton Hall.
Just a sophomore, so 2 more years in the white and blue.
Mamu, we got to reach in. I got to say, Mike, this one has been called extremely tight in the national championship game.
And that's the 6th foul on BYU, so now after this, it'll be shooting the rest of the half for the Pirates.
Just could not pick it up on Seton Hall's end, and now that leads to transition for Hawes. And one.
First personal foul. 4th team foul.
He can do it. He can drive it on you. He can shoot it on you. I think that's not 10 points. It said for TJ.
Yeah, exactly right. Into double figures.
But he got injured, so I believe it's Celius taking the free throw. This could be a huge storyline tonight for BYU.
Not a bad guy to take the free throw. He's pretty much automatic from there, but yes, we will absolutely keep our eyes on what happens with TJ Hawes over on the BYU bench. Indispensable. And maybe Seton Hall caught a break, but at the moment, scoreboard not kind. McKnight's going to try it himself. What a rebound by Mamu!
12 points for Mamu Kilashvili already with 5 minutes left in the first half. I mean, he looks like he's going to be the engine that's going to drive this Pirates team today.
Just imagine the numbers that he would have put up if he didn't have to miss 10 games with a fracture in his right wrist. Still was able to score 12 and 6. Seton Hall to cut into an 8-point deficit. Right there. How about this game by Mamu? Picking up where the backcourt is leaving off.
God, how pretty was that? Just a fadeaway J from about 11 feet. Not bad for a 6'11 forward.
He is so skilled. I mean, the touch around the rim, exceptional. And then he can bring it out beyond the three-point line as well.
And now he's got a steal. I'm going to ask him to make me dinner tonight.
Powell! Yes, sir! Here come the Pirates.
And pretty like a museum painting. That's a Miles Powell jump shot. 3-point spread.
A 7-0 run for Seton Hall, and we got ourselves a ball game once again. 3:50 to go before the break in San Antonio. Barcelo not this time. Oh, you can just feel it all shifting. Kale, jump stop in the lane. Not this time, though. Wouldn't get the roll. And Luke Worthington, the fifth-year senior, taking down the rebound. Bad pass. Now BYU does recover in transition, though, and McKnight to start the offense off of a screen from Roden.
Everything's all jumbled up in the middle to get some passing lanes.
And there is Kale, swatted by Toulson. Childs back to the top of the key. Celius after the fake, and McKnight came right down across the top.
Great job, Celius getting McKnight in the air. Drawing that foul. I don't think we're going to see Hawes the rest of this half.
It doesn't seem that way. And I don't think there's any coincidence, Mike, that Hawes out, and this is when Seton Hall makes its run.
Yeah, you don't have the leader being out there, being able to guide his team. Not that his teammates aren't good, but Hawes is the engine. He's not moving right now.
Celius 1 for 2. Leading BYU to that upset over top seed Kansas. He put up 28 points, 3 for 5 from beyond the arc. And then the very next game, they took down another number 1 seed. Or check that, Kentucky was the win in the Final Four, or in the Elite Eight to get to the Final Four. Their last 3 wins by an average of 10 points, and then got by West Virginia by 7.
I think, it's funny we bring up TJ a minute ago. I think I actually see him standing at the scorer's table.
Well, that
which
would
certainly be a sight for sore eyes for BYU fans.
Great news. We'll just have to see in a moment. Barcelo, who has been getting the minutes with Hawes on the bench with that injury. 10 to shoot for BYU. And it sits in for Childs.
Hey, it may be a neutral rim, but it gets a home bounce for Childs.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely TJ Hawes. Standing halfway on the court and halfway off right now. Roden. Well, you certainly know this is the last game of TJ Hawes' career no matter what. If he can at all play, he will. Rare miss there from Celius. I'm kind of surprised you don't take a timeout there if you're Mark Pope to get your guy back in the game.
Maybe the idea is, hey, give him an extra minute or two. The Barcelo's done a great job.
And this time, Roden wide open. And here he comes.
Substitution on the court.
So luckily just a minor injury for TJ Hawes. And he is right back in there for BYU up 4. Hawes lost it. McKnight in transition to Kale, and he is tackled by Celius. Gonna make sure it's gonna be 2 the hard way.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Kale didn't go down on this foul. It was a hard foul. It was a good foul, but a hard one.
Kale to shoot 2, the junior from Middletown, Delaware. So this is going to be a very competitive team next year as well. We talked about the guys returning, and Kale and Mamu can come back. Jaron Roden, just a sophomore. We haven't even seen Shavar Reynolds or Anthony Nelson yet, but they made big impacts as well in that win over top seed Gonzaga in the Final Four. And then we talked about Bryce Aiken coming in.
Yes, and Obiagu's just a sophomore as well.
That's right, of course, Obiagu. Can't forget about a guy that's 7'2", and we might see more from Torian Thompson as well, who will be a senior. Chance here at the end of the first half for Seton Hall to tie or even take the lead. McKnight, think you got to find Powell here. There he is, for three. No. Last chance now for BYU. Up 2. Ahead it goes. Seljaas at the buzzer. And so an entertaining first half comes to an end. A 2-point edge for BYU after the late run by Seton Hall.
So we take a look at the half box. Both teams shooting well. pretty much an identical box score. Seljaas, one team has a leading scorer with 15, the other has a leading scorer with 14. So that's that kind of game.
20 minutes to decide the national champion in 2020. We will be back right after this for the second half of action here on the Reddit Virtual Tournament. Ready to go back here at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. So glad you could join us along with Mike Abelson. I'm Alex Perlman. 2-point edge right now for BYU. Both teams looking for their first ever national championship. A miss to start things off for the Pirates. And now in transition, Barcelo. All right. Anyway, what I was saying. Seton Hall in its second national championship game appearance. They lost to Michigan back in 1989. BYU had never been to a Final Four, so suffice it to say they are in their first natty. Seton Hall, a couple of misses early on, Mike, from beyond the arc.
Yeah, neither team starting the second half all that well.
No, I would have
especially with whatever Barcelo did.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that, Mike. Expert analysis on your part. In and out for Seljaas, and Seton Hall will get another chance.
I'm not even wearing my glasses.
And Hawes, who had that early injury, came back in at the end of the first half, and he picks off that pass.
It'll be interesting to see how TJ, is doing now. Having halftime off certainly will help him rest up some more.
Seljaas won't miss that one. 17 on the game.
And shooting almost 50% from the field. Barcelo already 4 assists off the bench, earning his minutes here in the final.
Somehow Seton Hall kept that basketball, and Roden's going to get 2. Childs picking up just his first. So that's very good news for the Cougars. Childs in no danger whatsoever yet of fouling out, the senior from South Jordan, Utah.
The Reddit Premium Free Throw Cam in the second half is brought to you by Vitamin Water. My fiance's favorite drink, Vitamin Water.
Can she corroborate that, and what is her favorite flavor?
She likes the Triple X flavor, and yes, there's always at least 7 or 8 bottles in the house.
There's like a power flavor as well, right? The yellow one?
Yeah, I just kind of know the colors. She likes like the berry, the maroon berry. There's an orange, there's a blue.
Yeah, I'm more one of his citrus fans myself.
Okay. Can never go wrong with citrus. Citrus is always good.
2-point edge for BYU with the ball. Nixon was calling for it. Instead, it's around the wing. 3-ball, no. Nixon got the rebound and put it right back. Talk about Dalton Nixon, who was a real hero for BYU in their Final Four win over West Virginia. Putting up 14 points. He ended up fouling out, but there's no way the Cougars would be in this spot without him. Look at that, Barcelo with 5 dishes already, and Seljaas his incredible tournament just continuing. And I think it's incredible the fact that also he's doing this in the national championship game as well.
I mean, he's just been that good all dance. And he may be saving his best for last, which I'm sure Mark Pope won't complain about.
Top rebounder Childs rips down his fifth. Selja's thought about it. This BYU offense a bit stagnant here recently. Now down to 9 to shoot for Barcelo, dialing it up.
God, that shot shot me back into my chair here. Holy cow, I was not expecting that to fall. Barcelo, God, what a sixth man he's been today.
And now full court pressure for BYU almost forces the steal. Seton Hall able to break it across the midline, though, down by 9. What does Miles Powell and company have to say? McKnight.
I really like that possession. Powell drives in, draws the help, and no one was there covering McKnight. It didn't fall, but that's a play that Seton Hall should go back to again.
Barcelo again, lost it on the way up. And McKnight has it. McKnight thought about it. Now out top. Powell couldn't hit. Powell just 6 points so far, a guy that averages 21, and he had 26 in the win over Gonzaga. I know there were fans all around, Mike, that were really clamoring and hoping for an all-West Coast Conference final. That would have been something, right, between BYU and Gonzaga, but it did not work out that way. Seton Hall, a very worthy adversary, though, and it has played out so far. This has been a great national championship game.
Yeah, this has been a great game, and I'll say, though, right now, for West Coast Conference fans, the Cougars starting to put some space between them and the Pirates. A lot of time left, but things looking mighty good for Mark Pope and Brigham Young University.
Largest lead of the game right now for BYU, and that's enough for Kevin Willard to talk things over. How do the Pirates cut into the deficit here, Mike?
I mean, I would recommend that they score points, and I think that they should do more of that right there.
Mamu, are you kidding me? Unbelievable.
I'm sure that'll get clipped. That'll get clipped into a highlight.
I certainly hope so. Couldn't make the three-point play, but it almost doesn't matter.
He moved in all three dimensions of the three-dimensional play. Could have added a fourth if he wanted to right there. Goodness, Mamu.
Dude looked like Jordan. Like Kobe-esque. Rips down the rebound. He's getting closer to a double-double. And Powell flips it in.
You know, we talked about Powell at the top. You know, just 9 points. I'm sure that, you know, down the stretch, you know, if he could double that, if he could get up into the low 20s, like, that could really give this game a different complexion.
Yeah, the lead is 7. Selja's can't add to it. McKnight, one of the smallest players on the floor, takes it down. Well, we saw with Seton Hall against Gonzaga, Miles Powell took over at the end of the game, buried a few key threes. Can he do just that and get his team right back in it? That certainly helps. It's not Powell, but his backcourt mate, McKnight.
Well, just like that, it's down to 4. I think that's 7 straight points for Seton Hall.
Selja's. BYU has gone cold from beyond the arc, but Cougars get it right back. It was an 11-point advantage, now just 4 for BYU. Free throw line for Childs. Gets his man in the air and makes him pay.
Double digits now for Yoli Childs, 60% from the field. he got Mamu jumping right into the sky and went right around him for the easy layup.
First time in 3 games that Childs has reached the 10-point mark. He was a big disappointment for BYU, even though they were able to get to this spot. It really just, again, says a lot about the depth of BYU. And now, not a surprise to see them leading in a national championship game when Childs is actually playing well. Wide open jumper off the mark for Sellius. Does Mamu reach the 20-point mark here on this possession? Wide open 3. Powell couldn't hit it.
Well, not that time for Mamu, but he'll get to 20. I think he'll even get to 25.
That would have made it a 1-point game. And it's a 5-point swing. Barcelo with the dish. Nixon up to 6.
Dalton Nixon has had such a strong tournament quietly for this Cougar club.
McKnight to set up the offense. Now back to Cale it goes. In the corner. That 3 wouldn't go down, but there's Rodin. Swatted by Childs. Stays with Seton Hall. Pirates have so many chances. Oh my goodness, they didn't score at all in that possession as Sellius rips it away.
Must have had 5 shots at it, and then Sellius just not nice.
It was at least 5, and Nixon on the other end. I mean, we're talking like a 9-point swing potentially here in the last 2 possessions.
Yeah, and these Pirates, they need a bucket right here now.
Who do they depend on? Is it McKnight? He's buried 4 threes. Has arguably been better than Powell in this game. That's actually a pretty easy argument to make. Tapped out, going to stay with the Pirates. Just 9 on the shot clock. Under 12 minutes to go before we crown a national champion here in San Antonio.
Looking for that show starring that comedian your mom saw one time and can't remember? Find them all on TBS. Very funny.
Pump fake for Mamu. Wouldn't go off the window. Bank closed. And a chance to add to an 8-point edge. And in transition, it's Hawes.
God, gap back up to 10. I mean, what a strange series of swings.
Wow. I mean, if Seton Hall hit that 3, it would have been a 1-point game. Powell couldn't bury it. And double digits, the lead once again. I mean, BYU scores on you so fast. Corner for McKnight. Now back to Powell it goes. Defense comes from Hawes. Right there now, once again, a late shot clock. McKnight didn't matter for him. 18 on the game for the point guard.
There's that big triple that these Pirates needed. Quincy McKnight, 18 points. Shortest guy on the court. Biggest man on the court right now for Seton Hall.
Mike, this is really shades of the Elite Eight win against Baylor. Went to overtime. Powell just couldn't find it for whatever reason. And McKnight was the one that completely bailed them out. And Powell struggling once again here in this second half.
Yeah. And right there, an awful foul by Miles Cale. What are you doing? Miles, he's just flinging it over his head.
Yeah, he would have had to gone over the backboard on that one if Childs was going to put it in for 2. Missed on the first free throw attempt, though. That is Childs' bugaboo in his career. 54% from the charity stripe this season.
Well, if Seton Hall can make a bucket on this end, it's a good return on investment on that foul, at least.
McKnight just buried the 3. He's got 5 of them in the game. Around it goes to Powell. Nowhere near his season average of 21 points per game. McKnight again.
41% from the field, 20 points. Gap down to 6. This is getting fun.
He's averaging almost 20 points per game in this tournament. That's 8 better than he did the entire season. I mean, no question in his senior year, he's the one that wants it on this Seton Hall team. Back out it goes. Seljaas after the spin, lost it, stays with BYU. 8 to shoot for Nixon. Roden is right there. Now over to Barcelo, into the corner. Hawes wouldn't go for 3. Seton Hall back the other way. What a feed. High-low it goes. McKnight to Kale. So all of a sudden, it's like no harm, no foul for Seton Hall because they're right back in the same position that they were before, with a chance, with a 3, to make it a 1-point game, but thrown away.
And that's the thing, as you said during the last round, BYU can hammer you so quickly.
Doesn't help that the Pirates just cannot get out of their own way. Open Barcelo decided to drive in, and he does draw the contact for 2 free throws. But, Mike, he passed up a wide-open triple in the corner.
It's one of the most intense films of this century. Eminem tries to rap his way to the top of Detroit on Impractical Jokers, only on True TV.
That'll be on the DVR. There's no question about that one.
Also, some good news for me. I got some Fresca. I'm very excited about it.
Oh, that is exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I was going to say, with 8 Mile on Impractical Jokers, there's not a lot to laugh about in that movie, so I'll be interested to see how they treat that. Roden
Hard
going to the
foul.
free throw line right there.
Childs with his 3rd. Now I'm sure he'll probably sit, as is in accordance with the laws of basketball. Yoli Childs finds himself in foul trouble in this tournament. Nope, they're gonna ride.
I don't know, Mike. In a national championship game, I think you kind of just ride the guy out and see what happens.
That is true. I'll say if he picks up a quick 4th, that's a different story.
Correct, no doubt about it. Mamu takes down the miss and puts it back. 20 on the game.
Look how smart of a play that was. He let Childs try to swat him. He let Nixon try to swat him. They both flew by, and he just went up for a super easy layup.
To Seljaas. Wild layup wouldn't go. Some physicality down with the trees there for Seton Hall, and now a chance to cut into a 4-point edge. And exactly what they do. I mean, somebody has got to cover Sandro.
Timeout, BYU. Seton Hall fans hooting and hollering. They're feeling it. They're feeling good. 8 minutes away. Buckle up, people. Strap in.
Yeah, you know the mood in South Orange, New Jersey. A lot different than it was just a few minutes ago. Just a 2-point edge for the Cougars now. Hawes inside the arc. Gives it back up to Seljaas. He has been off from 3 here in this half, and that has led to a much tighter game. Seljaas once again. Great defense by Roden to alter the shot. Up ahead it goes to Kale. Draws the double team. McKnight to reset. Mamu back to McKnight, and they'll play catch. Mamu wide open shot. Tie game in San Antonio.
Is there nothing he can't do?
24 points for the junior.
We start fresh.
I mean, it's still 7:10 to go in this game. Hawes. BYU has gone quiet. Childs. No! Did Mamu get his hands on that one too?
I mean, if he didn't get his hands on it, he certainly affected it, and Roden pulled down the rebound.
Seton Hall could lead for the first time here in this second half. But it's, once again, I mean, It's almost like Seton Hall cannot stand prosperity. They get close, and they just give it away. It's so hard to watch. But Celius says he's definitely missed his last 3 shots, and that is the rebound that gives Sandro a double-double. Powell passed up the 3 to McKnight. Can't hit the open triple. BYU could go back in the lead. That is not exactly who you want shooting it, though, and Dalton Nixon with the way that BYU has been so far. And the alley-oop to Powell. The lead to the Pirates.
Look at that little piece of modern art. Powell coming through the air. Quincy just lightly tosses it up. 2-point game.
Yeah, they have done that time and time again for Kevin Willard and Seton Hall. Both seniors. Quincy McKnight had to come over from Sacred Heart, but what a get he was from a lower major program. And Miles Powell, of course, enough said. Hawes drew Powell in the air. Give it back to Barcelo, who has been a huge part of this national championship game for BYU, with Hawes going out with the injury. And Celius just cannot find it. That is bad news for the Cougars. Powell! Luckily, it's gone both ways.
I mean, I usually would never tell... Oh, God.
Hawes from deep.
I was going to say I would never tell Miles Powell not to shoot, but that last shot wasn't all that great, and then Hawes just put up a great shot.
It was a 3-point shooting contest recently, but Mamu's going to say, hey, the big man can still eat. Tipped off of the backboard. Luckily for the Cougars, stays with BYU. Less than 5 minutes to go in the national championship game. Nixon thought about it. Hawes nowhere near the play, and Roden got his right hand to it. Bounce to Roden, and back out it goes. McKnight would not use the Roden screen there. Barcelo right in McKnight's face, who has been the best player right now in the backcourt for Seton Hall. In and out on the jumper for the Pirates, and a chance for the Cougars to retake the lead.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm kind of surprised how low scoring it is. I thought teams would, they might even be pushing into the 80s by now. And it's kind of been start and stop offensively for both teams throughout this game. When they've been on, they've been amazing, but there's been a lot of stretches where both teams just can't score.
Well, that Final Four win against Gonzaga for Seton Hall was the first time they didn't score 90. They did put up 87, but Mike, we are nowhere near that at this point.
Yeah. You see McKnight drawing a hard foul.
McKnight is the best free throw shooter, 85%. And he was instrumental, as of course I jinxed him. He was instrumental in that overtime win over Baylor, where I think the Bears threw it away 6 different times, just in OT alone. But remember down the stretch how many big free throws McKnight hit to really put it out of reach?
Yeah, that's what he's able to do. He gets the ball, he forces you to make mistakes.
Roden for 2.
Speaking of guy who forces you to make mistakes, Jared Roden, look at that. Almost one steal, then the second steal. That is probably the shortest State Farm drive of the game, but it does earn the moniker for sure.
And it is a big one as well. 4-point lead for Seton Hall. Under 4 minutes to go here in the national championship. One of these two teams is earning its program's first national championship. BYU out of the WCC, or Seton Hall keeping the Big East supreme. Lead is 4. And it will stay that way.
I mean, that's a huge rebound right there. If he doesn't pull that down, there's 2 Pirates ready to grab it.
Hawes, no. And suddenly, a lid has been placed over the rim from 3. McKnight. Mamu still has not moved here on this possession. Now he's calling for it out by the 3-point line.
Child's all over him.
Set the screen for Powell. And that would not go down. 2:45 left as the team's trade misses. Celius has been ice cold from 3. Do they even go back to him? Hawes now for 2.
Well, the bank and the rim both opened at the same time for BYU. Down to a 1-possession game. Hawes has 17. 2:26 to go. I mean, I'll be honest, right now, if I'm Seton Hall, I use Miles Powell as a decoy. Sandro and McKnight have been your prime scoring options today. Ride with them.
Powell, back to McKnight it goes. Hawes right there for the D. Now Kale. McKnight forced it. What a rebound by Roden. They're going to call a reach-in on Childs, and that is his 4th.
Yeah, but at this point, this late in the game, you're not taking him out.
No, absolutely not.
2 minutes remaining.
So Seton Hall not yet in the bonus yet. Less than 2 minutes remaining. Open 3. Buried by Powell.
God, what a gorgeous shot. A shot that may have just won his school its first national championship.
It makes it a 5-point ball game, but still more than enough time right now for the Cougars. Hawes. Now to Toulson in the corner. Childs thought about it at the free throw line. Dribbling in, gets it out to Celius. And he continues to miss. That might be the biggest story here in this second half for BYU. Celius had been automatic in this tournament from beyond the arc.
I'll be honest, I think a bucket here will get Seton Hall the national title.
Very well could. Powell picked it back up. Going up with 2, and he'll go to the free throw line. Childs just fouled out.
Penalty situation. Substitution on the court.
Lee checks in, and now Powell, who's an 80% free throw shooter, trying to make this a potential 3-possession game with 1:07 left.
Substitution on the court.
What a run by the Pirates. It's not over yet.
Substitution on the court.
But they are getting close. Taking down back-to-back 1 seeds, and now the hottest team in the tournament in BYU, clinging on with dear life right now. 77-70 Seton Hall. Stays alive, though, with the lead bucket there.
Yeah, a quick bucket, too. Ho!
BYU's got it once again. Hawes! No on the 3. Oh, that went down.
He didn't need to shoot it that quickly.
And Seton Hall can take even more time off of the clock here.
BYU not fouling.
It's an 18-second game clock to shot clock difference here. 5-point margin. BYU got the steal it needed. Lee, inside Celius, and he got it to go. It is a 1-possession game as the foul comes from Hawes.
That's his first personal foul.
And of course, a great job by Seton Hall to get it into McKnight. But just the 7th team foul on BYU, so the Pirates are going to have to navigate these 1-and-1s here.
Enormous free throw right now for McKnight.
Substitution in the court.
All right, so a 2-possession basketball game. 26 ticks on the dot remaining. 1 for 2. BYU still got a shot.
Now, well, they got to go now.
Hawes has to fire. Got it to go!
God!
The lead is 1 for Seton Hall. TJ Hawes.
Oh, this man's not ready to be done yet.
Substitution in the court.
Oh, my goodness. This game
Do
is
not tell
certainly
TJ.
delivered.
And now McKnight needs to hit both of these.
All right, there's the first. But no matter what, BYU will have a chance at a 1-possession game. This would make the lead 3. And again 1 for 2. Can tie or potentially win a national championship here. 7 seconds left. Toulson fires the 3. No! And that
The Pirates are going to do it.
do it. Oh, wow. I can't believe Hawes wasn't the one shooting that 3. It was Toulson, who had not been involved in the offense all second half long, and Mamu can ice it. He does not. Last chance for Toulson at the buzzer. Not even close. Seton Hall is your national champion. For the first time in program history, it's the Pirates on top.
God, an all-time great national championship game. Only one player of the finals, Sandro, 26-12. Oh boy, Alex, I lost even more hair just watching this one. What a basketball game.
Mike, and what a tournament. What a pleasure it was. Thanks so much for bringing me on board.
Hey, it's been a wild ride. It's been a wild month. This was a lot of fun. This has been a real lot of fun. You closed the show. You're running it today.
And thank you so much to everybody that joined us. What a tournament, and it's Seton Hall atop college basketball for the first time ever. That will do it for us here in San Antonio with Mike Abelson. I'm Alex Perlman saying so long, and thanks so much for joining us here on the Reddit Virtual Tournament.
The ball is tipped, and there you are. You're running for your life. You're a shooting star, and all the years, no one knows just how hard you worked. But now it shows.
Duncan.
It's from the balcony, slammed into the ground. They're frozen in time. But time is short and the road is long. In the blinking of an eye, that moment's gone. And when it's done, win or lose, you always did your best. 'Cause inside you knew that in one shining moment you reached deep inside.
Over to Henry. What's over the three? Let's go! Deflected and stolen away. Oscar Shibwe goes coast to coast.
All the way down in a monster
Of
jam.
your heart, feel the wind in your face. It's more than a contest.
Terry's
It's
back.
more than a race.
Here's an alley. Oh.
Quickly looking to take it away in the hands of Hawes. Buries it!
And when it's done, win or lose, you always did your best. 'Cause inside you knew, in one shining moment,
Welcome to the Final Four.
in one shining moment, you knew.
What a stroke.
In one shining moment, you're willing to try. In one shining moment,
For Gonzaga. But they threw it away. This one is for it all.
one shining moment.
Buried by Powell. Fires the three. No! Seton Hall is your national champion for the first time in program history.